Hi, I'm Jen from Tea Leaves and Tweed, and here I usually talk about all things tea, so if that sounds like something you'd like, be sure to subscribe to follow more of what I do. However, today I'm doing something a little different. If you know what I'm talking about, you know. So today I'm going to be doing my version of the Made Up Aesthetics video. Okay, so one of my favorite YouTubers is Rachel Maxey, and I find her energy totally adorable and her aesthetic really closely matches my own, and I just kind of discovered my love of all things hobbity through her, kind of put a word to that. And recently she did a video where she took suggestions on made up aesthetics. So she was looking at ideas about like cottagecore and fairycore and dark academia and said like, make some up for me, make some. And people gave her some amazing ideas like nightcore, which, you know, I'm sure she appreciated the excuse to reuse that armor from her Joan of Arc look. So her video inspired me to try my own. So I have 4 fake aesthetics, 3 that I came up with myself. Well, 2 that I came up with myself, 1 that is a direct response to Rachel's video, and 1 that I asked my Instagram followers to come up with. So let's go. Now you've seen my tea room and my kitchen and my dining table and my yard. Welcome to my bedroom. This is my closet. This is my side of the closet. Over here is mostly my spouse's clothes, which is surprisingly more than mine, but it's not actually more than mine because I have another closet in the other room where I keep kind of like off-season stuff and dresses I wear to weddings and almost nowhere else, including the dress I wore to my own wedding. But this is kind of my everyday closet, and as I've kind of made clear on my blog and on my Instagram, I have a very unique style, so I have a pretty eclectic mix of clothing. So I think I should be able to put these aesthetics together using clothes I already own and perhaps a little bit of my crafting ingenuity. So let's jump right in. The first aesthetic I wanted to look at was bog witch core. So this is one that Rachel actually got suggested to her and she chose. Kind of. So while I love you, Rachel, I think you gave bog witch core short shrift by combining it with Shrek core. And I will say that when I hear the phrase bog witch, I don't think of Shrek. I don't think of an ogre living in a swamp. I think of the witches from the Scottish play. And I think about historical bog bodies. And I just think about this kind of eerie, dark, swampy forest aesthetic with a little bit of witchiness, maybe a woman who has like herbs that she sells or prepares in her cottage. And I just wanted to take this and turn this into an outfit because to some extent that is the job I want. So dress for the job you want. So let's do bog witch core. And of course, because I'm so inspired by the Scottish play with this aesthetic, I have to include something plaid. And I actually have this wool kind of modernized walking skirt that I wear all the time when it's not literally 100 degrees outside. So I've kind of stopped wearing it, but I think for this video I can pull it out for one more time before the winter. And I think I need to find some pieces to go with this. So let's think about this. And since it's kind of a crafty sort of idea, I think I might need to do a little bit of crafting to go with this. Okay, so the next aesthetic that I wanted to look at is Baba Yaga core. Now, Baba Yaga is kind of the archetype of a witch or an evil old woman from Russian folklore, and I just find her character so fascinating, and I love this idea of like the fierce old woman. It's this crone who has nothing more to lose, and I wanted to hearken to that kind of like dark, witchy, scary vibe, but also bring in some of that Eastern European, that Slavic, that Russian influence in the form of like almost like a pinafore or a dirndl style dress. So I have my first linen dress that I got from my favorite seamstress from Prague, Galia Couture, and it's this sleeveless dress, sundress, and I love using this as kind of a dirndl or kind of overdress style thing. So I think I'm gonna use this, and I think this dusty deep purple just fits with that misty woods aesthetic, and I think I need to find something black to put under it for that witchiness. And I think because she's kind of shown as being almost like a Russian version of that witch from Hansel and Gretel, because she does eat people in the stories, I think I want to use an apron. And I have this Hungarian apron that I got from my Hungarian grandmother, and I think I need to add that to this ensemble. So the final of the three aesthetics that I wanted to look at personally is Druid core. And I don't know why I came up with this. I think it's because I love trees. And in fact, my spouse made a comment about how he's worried that our toddler doesn't love trees as much as he should. And I said, you know what? With a mother like me, he will learn to love trees. And I love living places with trees. I love kind of staying in the forest. I'd much rather go and vacation in the forest than go to the beach. So I think Druid core just speaks to my soul. Plus there was this big Victorian revival of this glorification of the Druids. So something about that perhaps. And of course, when I think Druid, I think of green. I think of forest green. And I have this perfect cloak that you might remember from my Hobbits and Hojicha video that I'm definitely gonna have to use. It's not in this closet, that's in the coat closet because it's outerwear. But I think I have this other linen walking skirt. I think linen is a fantastic fabric for kind of a druidy feel. I think I'm gonna use this green, dark green linen skirt. And I think because there's this association of druids with like white robes, I think I might want to get like a white linen blouse to go with that. So I'm gonna have to take a look and see what else I have. Now finally, there are the suggestions from my fantastic Instagram followers, and I got so many great suggestions, and so many suggestions that were obviously people playing with me. And this isn't actually my favorite suggestion that I got. That honor goes to the person who said he wanted me to do Gatsby core, but not 1920s. 1920s as we see it today. So like that overly opulent look that people wear to Great Gatsby parties. And that tickled me. But because I think fully half of the suggestions I got were some form of T-core because of just me, I think I have to go with that. So people said, you know, tea-core, Earl Grey punk, which I think was my favorite way of putting it, or someone just said English breakfast. That can be your aesthetic. And so I think I have to go with some version of like tea-core or tea-punk. And I like this idea of tea-punk as kind of a blend between my kind of punk roots as a high schooler and this idea of steampunk but tea-punk, for that little play on words. So I'm gonna stick with kind of my typical, you know, English woman puttering in her garden look that I tend to have, but add some of those punk elements into it. And when I think about punk, I think about kind of mismatched colors, black, black leather boots, and t-shirts. So I have an idea. I have an idea for this one to make a tea-punk t-shirt. Okay, so that was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed this slightly different kind of video for this channel. It still had that connection to tea, and of course I do have to feature of tea because that is who I am. And I don't think there is anyone more punk rock in the tea community than Henrietta from the Rare Tea Company in the way she just like takes on these large tea conglomerates and tries to make things different. So I'm drinking her Earl Grey for my Earl Grey punk or tea punk look, and I hope you enjoyed that. So as always, please like this video and subscribe if you want to follow more of what I do. I promise it will just be tea content next week. I have something really exciting planned for next week actually, so I hope you'll come by and see what I have for you. Thanks for joining me. Bye.